Hi, I am Åsa Isacson. I am an architect and a software developer, and I used to work for FIC as the IT director and one of the co-directors. But I left a while back because I wanted to explore what kind of operational tools do we have as intentional communities? Like, how has this changed our toolbox for actually working together and functioning as communities in the last 20 years? So that's why I'm sitting here. This is Chalmers University of Technology in Sweden. And this is where I sit as a PhD candidate. I look into digital layers for intentional communities. And why is this interesting? Why is this important? Well, if communities are laboratories of change, like if we are exploring alternative futures, then I think it's very crucial what kind of tools we have for actually doing it, right? Making life easier for all of us. In my case, I live in a houseboat community, and before that, I lived in a rural community. I know that each community faced their different challenges. In the houseboat community, we have issues with land ownership, for example. Our lease is constantly being threatened and taken away. We have issues with administration because the fire souls who are out of the goodness of their heart doing the administration, they don't get paid for it, they might not be trained for it, and they don't have time for it. So they tend to get burnt out. We have issues with coordination or issues with communication. And I know from my experiences in the other worlds, like in the business worlds, in the startup worlds, that some of these things can actually be helped by digital layers. But very importantly, what works for companies might not work for communities, will likely not work for communities actually, because we're such different organisms. So it's very important that we look into technology from the perspective of community, because if I think we've all been burnt. If we're using the wrong type of technology, it can actually take away from the values that we're trying to cultivate. So it's very important that we look into, first of all, do we need the technology? Is it trying to solve a problem? And secondly, is the technology that we're trying to implement, is it actually fitting our purposes? And thirdly, how do we introduce it? Like, can everybody access it? Can everybody use it? Are we consistent with it? So these are some of the issues that I'm exploring, and I'm looking into it both from the perspectives of like the ones that are basically just using email, all the way up to the people who are setting up their own currencies and using them to vote. So I'm exploring the spectrum. If you're interested in this, I recommend you check out the blog post where I'm summarizing my latest article, my latest paper, alongside some of the advice that was synthesized from it. And also, if you want to, do feel free to contact me if you're working on something similar or just want to discuss on it. I am very open for discussion. Thank you so much.